Bangladesh was born on December 1971. Before that, it suffered one of the worst genocide that began on 26 March 1971 with the launch of Operation Searchlight. Then West Pakistan began a military crackdown on the eastern wing of the nation to suppress Bengali calls for self-determination. It was a nightmare for Bengali-speaking people in Bangladesh. During the 9-month-long Bangladesh War for Independence, member of Pakistani military and supporting militia in alliance with political parties like Jamaat-e-Islami formed Al-Badr and Al-Shams, or Rajakars as they were popularly called, carried out genocide, killing an estimated 3 million people and raped over 400,000 Bangladeshi women.
Bangladesh was bought with blood. March 1971, the year of the killing, begins. These women were killed after they had been raped by Pakistani soldiers. When their father tried to prevent the rape, he was bayoneted to death. East Bengal becomes a giant graveyard.
This pillaged the land, burning mosques, temples, schools, and houses. The genocide targeted Bengali men, students, and intellectuals because those were the most likely to join the resistance in order to fight the Bengali self-determination. In addition, the genocide involved religious cleansing as non-Muslim men, especially Hindus, were hunted and executed without quarter. Women and children were sometimes not killed.
With so much carnage, the victim count ranges greatly. There were an estimated 200,000 to 400,000 women raped and 300,000 to 3 million deaths.
On December 16, 13 days after the military intervention of India, the Pakistani forces in East Pakistan surrendered, ending the genocide.
But what did happen there will never be forgotten by the people of Bangladesh, especially the women.
It was in villages like this that the Bengali liberation struggle caught fire. And it was in villages like this that the Pakistan Army took its revenge. The villagers still speak of it, the men telling their stories of fighting, the children telling their stories of running and hiding. It is the women who are silent, women like Saira. She is 16 years old, a widow, and pregnant with the child of a Pakistani soldier. Like thousands of women throughout Bangladesh, she is carrying a child she does not want.
She says that her husband was in the Mukti Bahini. He was a commander of the force, in the village. And this army people were looking for him, and they had broken into her house to take him away, actually. And when they were dragging him out of the house, she started screaming and protesting and crying, trying to hold back her husband. And one of them turned back and raped her in front of her husband, who was forced to sit and watch with guns pointed at him. And later on she
Like many women who were raped by Pakistani soldiers, Saira is in disgrace among her people. Her parents take care of her, but they are certain that no man will ever marry her. Since January, many of the women ravaged by the Pakistani troops have been living in this house. They're being cared for by a government-sponsored women's rehabilitation group. Almost all of the women here are pregnant. They are very young, some only 13 years old. In a few cases, their parents have abandoned them. In others, their husbands have rejected them. About 70 have had abortions, and those who have had their babies plan to give them away. Most of the girls here were held prisoner by the Pakistani troops in the army barracks. For weeks, each day and each night, they were forced to submit to whatever the soldiers demanded. This is Rushanara, 14 years old and 7 months pregnant. She was abducted from her home in Dhaka and taken to the army barracks, where she remained for 3 months. She says there were nights when as many as 30 soldiers forced themselves on her.